Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Ass Hat Podcast. I'm your host, Newt. Pretty much the only host now because my weekend warrior, Bat 32, is having to take a little break. He's very busy with work and life and all that. He'll be back eventually. He'll be back. He's got all kinds of cool ass videos to show, cool ass stuff to make videos on. What this is, here's something I wanted to get into. Back in the 70s, and I want to get a time frame on this real quick. 78, wow. I don't remember seeing these then. Back in the 70s, Marvel got the Hanna Barbera license, but it was really weird. Marvel just published them. Marvel had nothing to do with the production. Like Hanna Barbera had a team of writers and artists, like Mark Evian, I'm pretty sure was part of this, Scott Shaw, all this, and they did these Hanna Barbera comics. I mean, there was this. Hold on, I'll show you. I got a few more. You had like Scooby Doo, Yogi Bear. There's Laugh Olympics, which is one I'd love to have. And all these I found fairly recently at a local antique mall. Got a good deal on there. I'm doing this one right now because this is going to a friend of mine. Miss Ginger, how you doing, ma'am? Great lady. Got to know her through the wrestling shows. We talk, about once or twice a week. She loves cartoon comics. So when I got a big lot and this was in there, I was like, okay, I'm gonna read it. Then I'll pass it. Just give it to her. She's a really nice lady. Oh, he's hooked me up with some great stuff like that. Ninja Turtles, storybook you saw, just all kinds of neat little stuff. We trade stuff back and forth. We got a lot in common. So we're like, we got so much in common, and we just met. All right, so this is Hanna Barbera Spotlight issue 1. Okay, Huckleberry Hound, still 35 cents. We got Huckleberry Hound, Yogi Bear, Fred Flintstone, Huckleberry Hound again, Wally Gator, Quick Draw McGraw, Snaggle, Puss. I don't remember the fox's name anymore. George Jetson, Doggy Daddy, Top Cat, and is that Magilla Gorilla or Grape Ape? I get them mixed up. Oh, here we go. The Bad News Bears in Japan. I love this art. Is that Jack Davis? Looks like Jack Davis. And what these were is published bi-monthly. And it was just Hanna-Barbera putting out cartoon comics. Because they'd done, I want to say before this, they'd worked with Goldkey, Whitman Dell. And then they went to, and Charlton. Charlton did some, because I got some 70s, I think they had, they were Charlton for it. And the thing with the Charlton was, I like Charlton, but they're on cheap paper. They're very, very cheaply printed, whereas Marvel was high quality at the time. So we got Huckleberry Hound. This is a Yogi Bear story. Yeah, busted up deep. Adventures of Grit Boy. Now that is Jack Davis. I recognize that. Everybody loves Icy. I remember. Okay, anybody out there watch this? If you ever seen an issue of Grit, I've never seen these ads all over. Never met anybody sold it. Never seen an issue. I'd love to see one issue. See what was in Grit. Oh, Huckleberry Hound meeting some aliens. Oh, is that that's the Fun Factory? Okay. So this is kind of a crossover, Huckleberry Hound and oh man, dude. The superhero show. Okay. Now this is 78, so what month was it? Let's see how old I was. September, so that means it probably came out in July, so 78, I just turned 4. So I had this Fantastic Four shirt. I remember having it, and that'd be my favorite shirt when I was like 4 or 5 until I outgrew. I can remember wanting to wear it every day to kindergarten. Red Sonja, I would love that Red Sonja one. Howard the Duck, Cap, Spidey. Only ones I really wouldn't want would be Hulk and Thor. And back then I would have wanted Hulk because I was a huge TV show. Now I'm just like, Hulk's interesting. I'm not a huge fan, but Hulk's interesting. But Yogi grows big. I just thought, and I've never had any of these. If I wanted, oh, look at this, like a little story. Okay. I didn't even know these existed. I don't remember seeing these. Because in my mind, now as a kid, by 78, if I was reading any of these cartoony comics, I was getting them from Goldkey, Whitman, whatever they were at the time. Marvel, I was buying superhero stuff, and DC, I really wasn't buying much from DC. I was not a DC guy as a kid, and honestly, part of that is like, for me, for the 70s, I like 70s Marvel superhero stuff. That's good. DC, their 70s stuff I like is like their horror titles, their war titles, their western titles. Their superhero stuff just, it just felt like it was something from the 50s. It felt so behind the times, where as a kid reading the Marvel stuff and saying like, man, this stuff is good. And you're saying, what, read? Yeah, I learned how to read it for. I'm not going to tell the Stratos story real quick. When I was 4 years old, I had this big old thick coloring book. I thought it was about that thick. Because It was like Marvel and DC superhero stuff in there. And each page was like a panel, had the word balloons on it, and I knew my letters. And we went every Saturday or Sunday, usually sometimes both, from Moss Point, Mississippi. Well, actually outside of Moss Point. If you know Mississippi at all, Highway 90 or I-10, either one of them to go east-west. Right before you get into Alabama, there's a little community, two little communities called Franklin Creek and Forts Lake. Franklin Creek's right there. You go a little north, there's Forts Lake. I grew up in Forts Lake. It's outside Moss Point. I just say Moss Point because nobody's heard of Franklin Creek or Forts Lake. Some people have heard of Moss Point. Well, we were driving, and I had that color, but Mom got me the color, so she's not a color. I started, Mom, what's this word? And I'd spell the word out to her. So over the course of like about 4 or 5 months, I learned how to read by doing that. And by the time I started kindergarten, I was reading on, because he gave us a reading test, I was reading like a 3rd grade level. So comics got me reading. So I was reading comics back when, 4 or 5 years old. I mean, most people I talk to, they're in comics, they started like 9, 10. I started real young. I mean, I was a kid that in, 1st grade would finish my schoolwork and start to pull a comic book out of my bag and read it, Whereas most of my other friends, they got into comics a little bit later, like Transformers and G.I. Joe was coming out. I like this as a crossover story. The Sales Leadership Club. I had a friend of mine join. Oh, I love that Star Wars belt buckle. A friend of mine joined that. Didn't make much. Hokey Wolf. That's who that is. Hokey Wolf. I like this little monster-looking thing. The Paladin and Hulk. The baseball cards with the hostess. Okay, that's a cool little comic. And then the gliders. And these are reader copies. The guy wanted, I want to say $3 a pop, which is not horrible. But I talked to the guy before when I got these, like a week before. I was like, look, he had a bunch of, he had like, this. He had some, Charlton War comics, just oddball stuff. Because he goes to estate sales and just buys stuff. I'll show you something else he had. Hold on, give me a second here. He had, stuff like a Charlton $6 Million Man. It's like, yeah, don't sell that well, because it's mostly kids buying them. He goes, I need superhero stuff. Like, dude, I got like 200 superhero comics. I want to get rid of Marvel and DC stuff. I'm like, it's kid friendly. So we worked out a deal. I gave him a big ass stack of comics that he could charge $3 to $5 on for a big ass stack of comics that he wouldn't sell it. So hope y'all enjoyed that. Man, if you did, give me that thumbs up, leave a comment, subscribe, all the other BS. And Miss Ginger, this video's gonna go up way after you got this, but you're getting this Saturday. Matter of fact, I'm going to walk into the other room real quick and find me a bag and boards. I can bag and board this up for you, and I don't see one. So, okay. I'm out, everybody. Hope you enjoyed that. Laters.